we are to launch our iPad program. We did a pilot last year, and we're going to be the first high school in the state of Maine to be issuing iPads to our students. So we're very excited. And so I'm learning. I have my iPad right here, and I'm sure I'm going to be very cumbersome with it, so bear with me. So tonight's agenda, I'm going to talk about the vision of the project, policies and procedures. I see most of you have picked up some of the forms on the table. If you have not picked it up, please do so before you leave. And then if you feel comfortable, you'd like to sign the permission form, the parent permission form is a must. There are pens on the table. Are there still pens there, John? Okay. So, we're going to talk about taking them home and what your insurance possibilities are. And then Rob Brown, the Director of Technology, is going to go over just how to use the iPad and aspects of the iPad. And the head of school, assistant head of school for academics, Mr. Pratt, will be talking about some of the cool things and the impact on instruction. We are a mission-driven school, and so all our decisions need to meet the mission. And I won't read that to you, and I know you can, I think you can see behind me. Yep, very good. But what I did is I highlighted in green and blue the different parts that we believe this program directly addressing our mission. More specifically, the school is committed to developing responsible and informed citizens and critical thinkers and collaborative learners. And this whole project is about lifelong learning. I would urge you, if you had the opportunity, if you have a computer, to Google "Did You Know?", which is a very short just film on YouTube. It talks about the 21st century learner. We're talking about our students, your children, and how they learn. And they certainly learn differently than you and I did. I remember when I was in school, the big debate was these big bulky calculators versus the slide rule, because we've gone through that. So we are definitely going through change. In fact, things are changing almost monthly. Also, a book that talks about the skills that our students need in the 21st century by Tony Wagner flows into the global achievement gap. I highly recommend that you check that out. If you were at graduation and the Commissioner of Education spoke, he talked about this book, and that focuses on the skills that we need to provide our students for the 21st century, essentially for jobs that don't even exist. If you think about all the jobs now that are available, the factory jobs and a lot of those jobs are gone, as we all know. There are jobs that didn't exist 2 years ago that we're preparing our students for. So what skills do our students need? They need to be analytical thinkers. They need to be critical problem solvers. They need to be creative. And so we at Foxcroft Academy want to make sure we're tooled and prepared to provide the tools that our students need for the 21st century. Also, along with our iPad program, we're also going to do a digital citizenship program. So we're going to teach our students in Advisor by Z about how to be good stewards on the electronic medium. How to act, things to do, things not to do. Colleges now, when they accept students, what do? They go check out the student's Facebook. In fact, there's a very famous story. The student that was accepted, I believe it was Harvard, it was an Ivy League school. It was withdrawn after the counselor checked that person's Facebook, and that person had a marijuana leaf on it. So we want to not only give the technology to our students as a learning tool, but we also want to give them the education on how to act and how to use that. And this project is about lifelong learning. This is what this project's all about. The vision of the iPad program: the students of Foxcroft Academy will have the tools of the 21st century that will propel them to great success in their post-secondary endeavors. That's our vision. And again, we're preparing our students for jobs that didn't exist. Mr. Brown, I'd just like to point out, I think I definitely won this thing. I'd like to review real quick the timeline for the decision to do this and why we're doing it. First of all, so last year, we have a computer lab, which is upstairs, and we have found that teachers were signing out, and teachers needed the computer lab, and there was a waiting list, and people were frustrated, and we really did not have the technology to meet the needs of our students and teachers. And we also had limited space. The computer lab has approximately 20 seats, but in one period, we would need 50, 60 spots for students to use technology. So we knew we had to do something with our infrastructure. We knew we had to upgrade our infrastructure, and we sat down as a team and we considered many things. We considered laptops, just like the middle school. We considered desktops in all the classrooms, and kind of like a hardwired system. And then we kind of consulted with Apple, and Apple with the education program in the state of Maine, the people who are in charge of the laptop program, and they were thinking, although they don't know for sure, that their next deployment will not be laptops. And they said it probably will be the iPad. So we went to the trustees, and the trustees approved a pilot in which we received 60 iPads, and our teachers spent the time. We made sure we put an iPad in the teacher's hand and made sure we created a cart of about 30. And there was a rotation in which teachers tried out apps, books, and lessons using the iPads. And so through that process, we went through the pilot. We consulted with our faculty, obviously. We consulted with our parent advisory council, which I would encourage anybody interested to join. And then obviously we consulted with our trustees. And all parties said, yes, this is the right thing to do. This is a good investment. And so here we are tonight. And as I said, and I say this with pride, well, with some fear, we're the first high school in the state of Maine to do this. We're not the first high school in the United States. It was just announced, a big school in Florida just announced that all the students have iPads and they're not issuing any textbooks. And the Chicago school system has already done this. Schools in California have made the decision not to provide textbooks. So, but we are the first high school in the state of Maine to do so. So why do we believe this is best for our students? Well, as I opened up, it supports our mission. Again, we were looking to upgrade our infrastructure, trying to stay ahead of the curve. We're trying to bridge the gap. I used to be a middle school principal. I was a principal when the state rolled out the initial laptop program. And so what would happen is our middle school students would know that they have a laptop for grades 6, 7, and 8, come to high school for 4 years and they don't have a laptop anymore. Then they go to college or post-secondary, whatever endeavor, and they're expected to have technology needs. So there's a 4-year gap in most of the high schools that we sort of took away the technology that stayed ahead, that we didn't get something that was going to be out of date in just a couple of days. And again, and as Mr. Pratt will talk more about this, it supports lifelong learning. I do want to show you this. So I have a son who's a junior at UMF, and we were told that what usually happens when there's a trend in education, it usually happens at the collegiate level. It usually happens at the high school, higher education. And so when a higher education makes a change, it then follows, pre-K through 12 follows. So this is an app that we found, and I don't know, let's see if you, it's called KNO, K-N-O. And this is an app where when a student is in college, they put in their university that they attend. It will search all the electronic textbooks, and students are now buying their textbooks between 30 and 50% off the price. Now I can tell you with a son in college, that's a lot of money, especially 50%. I don't know how I see that. That's an example of a psychology book. So things are changing. Unfortunately, borders close. That's a sign of the time. Textbooks, if they don't change with the time, they're going to be facing closure. And we're finding that major textbook companies are quickly retooling and readjusting and making e-books and electronic books available, because this is the way of the future.